Corey and I met when I was 30, he was 31, back in 1985. I was a single mom at the time. I had two young sons, and Corey was just like a lifesaver to me. It was a very stressful time in my life. I was working full time, raising two children, and going to college at night. And I met Corey, and it was almost love at first sight. It wasn't maybe first sight, but we became inseparable after about maybe dating for a month or 6 weeks, and after that we were always together. It just felt so nice to just be a family again. Did the best that I could, but I just remember thinking, if this were me ill and the other way around, he would be doing 1,000 times better. He was such a great caregiver. He was diagnosed of pancreatic cancer in November of 2011. Prior to that, he started having some symptoms in August, and I think he was in a little bit of a denial about it. And I kept pushing him to go to the doctor, and oh no, he was sure it was something that would go away. And I think in his mind he knew he had pancreatic cancer, but he just didn't want to believe it. When the doctor told us it was pancreatic cancer, I just felt like I'd been hit with a sledgehammer. And he didn't, it had already spread to the liver. It was stage 4. We still went, and had some tests after that, but it was a, pretty dismal diagnosis. And I still talk to Corey every day like he's still here. And, there just isn't a day that goes by that I just don't still miss him terribly. It's been a year and a half now, and it gets better. It's not, the grief is different, after a while. I think the first few months or even year, it's just so overwhelming. And I just remember having so many nights where I cried so hard that my body just shook, and I think as time passes that kind of goes away, but you still feel the sadness. I still feel the sadness, and it still just felt completely unreal. Going home to the house after we had been in the hospital for pretty much the last month. We had been home for 6 to 7 days, and going back to the house and seeing all of his things there, and just looking at everything was just so surreal. I couldn't believe that I was in this situation. And then you kind of go into, the mode that here's what I have to do. I have to plan this funeral. I have to make some phone calls. And so I think you get through the first few days sort of doing those things. I started grief therapy through Allina Hospice, and I got 13 months of grief therapy through their program. It's free. And I really, really clicked with Kathy, the woman that was my counselor. Oh, I was afraid of everything. I was just afraid of doing everything alone. I was afraid of, how am I going to get through all of the things that I need to do? I was afraid to go back to work because I couldn't get through the day without crying. I didn't wear eye makeup for, I think, 8 months after Corey died because it just wasn't worth it. But mostly it was just the loneliness. It was just such an aching feeling of being so lonely. And I think I'm still a little angry at times, maybe not quite as angry as I was at first, but I was angry at everybody. And I would go around even judging people and, why do you get to live? And my husband, who is so kind and considerate to everybody, has to die, and you aren't doing any good for anybody, and here you get to live, and you're mean and hateful. And I just, I would judge people like that, and I knew it was wrong. I knew I shouldn't do it, but I couldn't help myself. I just was so angry at, angry at God, or angry at the world, or, why this had to happen to him. And I think the grief too, the first year, I felt like I was grieving more for him, and that he didn't get to live, that he didn't get to finish out his life, that he didn't get to do all of the things that he should have been able to do. And I just couldn't believe that had happened. And I think that maybe after the first year went by, I started more grieving for myself than in my own loss. And So I mean, it just really is a process to get through, and you never get through it. I don't know if that's the right word to say, but somehow you have to keep going and make it through the days. And I thought it would be really, really difficult to go up to the lake home after he died, but I found that I just felt very peaceful there. It's kind of where we always felt peaceful there. It's a very spiritual place. It's very calming, and I love being by the water, and that ended up just really helping me. Even though it's sad that he's not there, I do feel at peace. I felt sort of like my friends didn't have enough time for me, and at first I asked my friends to come over or do this or that with me, and after I got so much rejection, I just stopped asking my friends for anything. And I know they still would do things for me, but I just, I don't know, I couldn't handle them saying no. And I think just because I'm just in such a fragile state that I don't know, I feel rejected when I ask for something and they say no, so I really kind of quit asking. And I have really found actually comfort from people that I never ever expected to, people I didn't know as well as I do now, and didn't reach out to before, but offered to help me with things. Since Corey died, or even since he got sick, I quit focusing on my own health, and I have to start doing that. I just haven't been to the doctor, I haven't been to the dentist, I need foot surgery, and I just don't have the, I don't know, I guess the energy, or I don't want to make the effort to take care of myself, and I know that has to change. Redefining myself as a single person. I didn't realize how much of my identity was wrapped up in being Corey's wife. I always thought I was a pretty independent woman, and I am, but it's just an ongoing process that every day, simple as this might sound, and just learning how to deal with these feelings that I have that I wasn't used to having. I was a very happy person most of the time, and just learning how to deal with sadness and try to get past it and not revel in it. But for me, I had to really, really feel the grief. I had to feel it to even move forward, and I knew that about myself. And if you lose someone this close to you, you need to reach out. You can't just sit there by yourself and expect to take care of your grief yourself. You need to reach out to not just friends, but professionals. And I think every day you have to be thinking about how are you going to get through this, and what is going to help you get through this. And you need to find out what works for you, whether it's physical exercise every day, and meeting new people, talking about it. For me, I just have to talk about it, and I think that's one of the things that's been so difficult for me with my good friends. And I know they don't mean to do this, but when I start talking about Corey, they kind of change the subject because they don't want me to be sad. They want me to be happy. They want me to be the old Jan that I used to be. I would say that the old Jan is gone forever. There's part of her, part of me that will always be there, but I am never ever going to be the same person that I was before Corey got sick and died. That person is gone. I have to learn how to adjust and live my life the way it is now, but my life is different now. There's always going to be some sadness there. Not that I can't be happy again. I'm hoping that I can. I don't know that I feel quite that I'm there yet, but I think they just have to know that, this is just such a profound experience, and unless you live through it yourself, you just don't understand how it impacts you. And I am never going to be the same person that I was. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to be a good, happy, positive person someday, but I'll never be the same.